ever drive your car and you're like, wow, this car's a piece of crap, but I love this piece of crap? That's the kind of day it is today. What's going on, guys? Today what I wanted to do is, I always wanted to do this video where I wanted to see how much would my car be worth according to like buying new parts and buying used parts, and how much I actually invested into the S14. But first, we're going to try and pass a mission. So, gotta do a couple stuff, but wish us luck. Last thing I did was change the cam angle sensor, and I needed to change my AEM trigger disc on the cam angle sensor. Me, being a dummy, I didn't have my laptop with me, so I couldn't put it back on timing, and for some reason it wasn't calibrating with my ECU. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to my buddy John's shop. I'm gonna go to Performance and Styling and have him just put it back on timing. That way we could go to mission pass, because I'm like, I think like 2 months overdue or something like that. So rushing in now. I don't know why these lights aren't turning on. So we're gonna take the Kooky, go for a little nice drive. It is so dirty right now. Like, look at this. Cake, put this back on. That's all set there. I've been working like non-stop. I'm trying to get something for this winter. I'm not gonna let you guys know what it is, but I might be doing something pretty big this winter. And literally been like 4 hours of sleep every single night. This should be all set, and now I'm gonna be putting like coilovers in some wheels. Might be putting my work wheels just because it might fit this body style a little bit better, just because it's really tight. How it's like buckling here and everything. Might do like 9.5s probably on this. I don't know, we'll see. But let's bring this down, start it up. Like the AFR is the timing's a little bit off. It's not too far off, but you need to have it spot on for a minute. Look at this little dinky exhaust here. It's gonna sound so funny right when I turn it on. Should turn on. See, it's like a little rough, so definitely got to adjust the timing on this. Look what I'm dealing with. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it is so dirty. But it's a perfect day out. It's like maybe 60 degrees, 65 degrees, I would say. And this is definitely boost weather. But car's running okay. Like I said, it's just off a little bit on timing, but that little bit is what makes the difference on passing the RB with Connecticut standard emissions. So I gotta get that timing on right. And this exhaust is so quiet. And it's so low to the ground because it's for an S13. But like I said, it passed maybe like 8 of us, all RV swapped and everything. So let's enjoy this little ride. Alright, just pulled up to Performance and Styling. Buddy John's gonna be helping me out real quick. Look at that two-tone. Woo-wee. So got everything connected here. Look who decided to drop by. Got Johnny, got Frank, he's talking right now. But I was just saying, look at this fitment right here. So clean, everything is done perfect on this car. Look how clean this is. Everything's all situated now, and the car is actually driving really good. Oh, actually ended up being that idle air control valve. That was the problem this whole time. And I'm like, are you serious? So we were able to connect it to the laptop and see that that wasn't actually kicking on. So that's a plus right there. And right now the car is actually driving fine, just with this bum ass exhaust. Now I'm just gonna go get some food. That's how I pay my tuners. I just go in and bring some food. Well, got some bad news. So I guess they changed in Connecticut earlier this year that now I wasn't even able to go to emissions, because now front wheel drive cars, they're strapping down. So a bunch of, literally every place now has to get, I guess, like somewhat modified for a rear wheel drive car so they can strap it down, which that's news to me. I don't know, I've never heard that before, but the place that I usually go to, I usually have to go every year or two because I'm usually late, but they couldn't strap my car down because since it's being rear wheel drive, their setup is different. Couldn't pass emissions. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead, get started on this, break down what I've spent and what the, I guess, the retail of some of the parts would go for. So we're gonna break that down. I wrote a bunch of this stuff down already, so I don't have to go off the top of my head too much. First, we're gonna start off with how much I paid for the car. So, paid for the car, this is originally a 95 Nissan 240. I bought this car with an RB25 block, like somewhat assembled. The swap wasn't finished, and I bought the whole thing for about $3,500. Invested maybe another $500 into the build just to get it to run. Ran it for about 2 years straight and haven't had problems in over 2 years. Then compression went down on cylinder 3 and 4. They were marking it at around like 100, and everything else was around like 150. So took the whole RB apart, pieced together a whole nother RB. Thanks to my buddy Tyler, he did an RB30 like build. So I pieced together another RB25. Piecing everything out came out to about, like, I would say almost $1,000. I saved a lot of money piecing it together thanks to the forums and all that. Well, after piecing everything together, going to the machine shop and everything, we're at about $4,500 since I've gotten the car. Next, we're gonna go into the motor of what else I did. We'll start with just the easy stuff. The whole tube front end came out to about $60 thanks to my buddy. That was 60 bucks. Had this already, so that wasn't too much. That was about maybe like $50, $80 there. Did the front facing manifold. That was about 150 bucks back when ISR was ISIS. We'll do the LS coil pack conversion. Got the LS coil packs, got the harness, and the MSD ignition wires. That all came out to about $200, $250 for that conversion. Next, we have, everything's ugly right now, disregard all that. But next we have ID 1000 top feed injectors with the fuel rail, fuel lines, and an aftermarket fuel pressure gauge there. Everything there came out to about, I would say, $600, $700 after everything's said and done. Next we have some of the important stuff. We got a 6262 precision journal bearing turbo. So I got that at a deal. I got a discount on that. That came out to about $900 shipped to me, and I actually blew the turbo the first time. Ended up being a bad oil pump, because you already know RB problems with their oil pump. Bringing us to that, a new RB oil pump was about 150 bucks. At the same time, I went ahead and did a new water pump, did ARP head studs, Cometic head gasket, multi-layer metal head gasket, and the Greddy timing belt. I got all that for a deal on Marketplace. So that whole thing came out to, I only literally paid, I paid about $200 for that. I paid about $200 for that, if I remember correctly. We go ahead to Z32 fuel filter there, which is about like 30 bucks. Got a tile wastegate here. That was about $100 shipped to me. Went ahead and like custom made this right here. This is a stock manifold and just welded literally the wastegate right onto that. So that didn't cost anything. Downpipe all the way to the exhaust. That right there was about maybe $100. $100 there. We have the GK Tech fan. I wanted to run clutch fan on that. So with the clutch fan, the fan itself with the blades and the adapter piece inside, I paid about $150 there. So that wasn't too bad. We got Greddy, a real Greddy blow-off valve there, and Q45 throttle body as well. That came out to, between those two things, I got this for 60 bucks. Shout out to Sean for the hookup on that. Got this for about $90 for the throttle body there. Oh, also missing the Hallman boost gauge here. This came out to about like, I would say another $60, $70. Like I said, I literally did my build on Facebook and Zilvia forums because everything's for cheap. Everyone's always parting something out. So definitely check those out. Check out your local Facebook pages because you'll be surprised what you find, and when you offer people when they're money hungry, because you could get a lot of good deals on that. Gonna go ahead and slowly make our way to the outside. So before that, go ahead with an oil cooler with the lines, Greddy thermostat, oil relocation there. Spent about 120 bucks with all that shipped over to me. Intercooler, I used the same intercooler setup that I had when I first had my first RB, so that wasn't too expensive. But if I remember correctly, I think everything came out to about $150 for that with all the piping. Last but not least, for engine wise, the most expensive part was RB26 covers, which came out to about like $500 shipped, on top of spending $200 getting them powder coated. So I left out like all the little stuff that I replaced, like between some of the sensors, radiator hoses, the harness itself. The harness itself I had it custom made, and that was about like $300. Whereas now you go on Wire Specialties, they're about like $800. But if you find a used harness, you could probably find it for about like $300-400, so it's not too bad. Next, we have the Street Faction Bash Bar, which came out. I got it when they started doing their prototype, so it wasn't too bad. I got it when it was about I paid about $330 shipped, and now they're about like $400 shipped. We have the whole kooky conversion here. So this is my third kooky conversion. First one, I crashed the car, hence why like right here it's a little like crimply, and got rid of all the tubs and everything. Second kooky conversion, I paid about $1,700 for, and thankfully I went through PayPal, and shout out to PayPal because they always have my back, and it actually got stolen on its way from Thailand to California, and it came up as stolen. And then I got my third one, so I saved myself $1,700. I got my third one, drove out to, I think it was New Hampshire and New Jersey, and spent only $700 on a whole kooky conversion. Then swapped out, got some Circuit Sport corners, $70 shipped, got some D-Max style headlights, that's the same OEM grill, and that was about like $200 for that because it had broken tabs. Those are kooky problems as well. Moving over to, these are actually, even though they're beat up, these are real Naven side skirts, which at the time my buddy didn't know, but I paid $200 for it, or not even, because I bought this side skirt, the rear bumper, the JDM bumper, which that was a rep, and I got the bumper, the side skirt, and another bumper, and I literally paid $200, which those go for about, like, I would say like $400 to $600 depending where you're at. We got the little add-ons here, which go for about like, those are fiberglass reps, which go for about like $80 to $100 shipped, depending shipping costs pretty much. This right here is a real kooky wing that I paid, I think it was about $350 for, shipped from Japan. D-Max style roof spoiler, but this is fiberglass as well. This I paid about $90. Next we go over to my drift spares. Got some XXRs there, paid about $200 for those. And the most expensive part, which were the best bang for my buck, but it was worth it. These work BSKFs, re-lipped, re-barreled. These are 18 by 10.5 plus 12, 4.5 inch lip on them, and I spent about $2,000 with tires on them. So I got a huge deal. Shout out to Travis for hooking me up on those. While we're up here as well, got some Z32 brakes, which go for about, right now they're going for about like $170. I got them from a junkyard for about like 75 bucks on those. Cars riding on some PBM coils. Shout out to Tyler for those, he hooked me up. I paid about, those were the first gen PBM coils, and I paid about, I think, $600 for those, and they ride amazing. But I think I like blew my right one out just from like slamming the car and just going to a bunch of different drift events. Those are a couple years old. Next we move on to the interior, or somewhat clean interior. We got AFR gauge with the wideband inside of it. I spent about 150 bucks on that. Got some Pro Sport gauges, oil pressure, water temp. Spent about $40 each on that, as well as this boost gauge here. Got this little holder here, which is fiberglass, $10 shipped on eBay. Got that whole new This used to all be green, by the way. My car used to be a base model 95 and then switched it all to 97 style kooky. Actually got some parts from Chris Rudnick and Tommy right before, even before Tommy actually started YouTube. That's when I think that was like the second time I ever met Tommy, and they sold me some of the rear trim, and actually he sold me the inside. Oh no, you know what? This is actually Chris Rudnick's dash, because this is my third dash. The second dash that I got actually had a huge crack, and it was like suede, almost how like Caleb Quambeck S14 is. He did that suede little like powdery thing, and that actually cracked my whole dash. So this is actually Rudnick's from his kooky, that bluish kooky he used to have. Paid about $100 for that. The whole rest of the interior I paid another $100, including those seats. Blackish. Oh no, actually I got this carpet from Jimmy when he came down like 2-3 years ago from Roger. These door cards, these black ones, these are actually 97, so there's no window amp on these. Next we have the NRG hub and grip royal steering wheel. That all right there was about $150. This Corbeau seats, which was one of the expensive ones, that was $350. And I got some, I think I spent like $60 on those sliders there. Well, they're actually fixed because the sliders I broke, of course. Got some NRG harnesses. I spent about like 80 bucks for both of those together, so that wasn't too bad. Then I custom made everything. Well, I didn't. Kendrick helped me out a lot when I first didn't know how to do a lot of the wiring. Literally replaced, relocated the fuse and put everything underneath the airbag here. This is a cool little nifty trick. It's literally by like 4 bolts here that hold this together, just to make it somewhat easily removable, and then just snap it right back in. So I was going over my list. I kind of didn't break everything down. Like, I didn't break down a bunch of the fuel lines, like a bunch of the little stuff, clamps, fuel lines, couplers, new cam angle sensor, stuff like that. Actually the AEM ECU, which is a huge part, because those go for about maybe like $1,200, $1,300, but I got a broken one for $400 shipped, and I sent it back out to AEM and they fixed it for me for about $100. So I was able to get a standalone ECU with the trigger disc and new pins and everything for about, after everything shipped back, it was about like $700. So I made out right there. I saved literally almost half. I keep saying so a lot. But anyways, going over my list here, I was adding everything up between the years when I first had this car. When I first got this car was literally a couple years ago. I would say maybe like 7 years ago I got this car. Base model Zenki. It was ugly green. Hood didn't work, trunk didn't work, a bunch of stuff just wasn't there. The car didn't even run really. I actually forgot the D-Max style, those taillights, which are about like $250 there. But after everything's said and done, I spent, within 7 years, I spent about $16,000 on this car. And that's not even including like, I even forgot the arms, like all the parts I replaced, inner outer tie rods, GK Tech, PBM spacers, Villains drift knuckle, Voodoo tension rod. That right there just adds like a whole like $1,000 right there. So yeah, $17,000 I spent on this car, not including stuff I replaced when I first got coilovers, broke steering racks, gas tanks. So I would say I'm pretty much, yeah, damn. Just going through all these numbers, I would say, yeah, 16, 17,000, 20,000 being the high most of what I spent. So when people say that a car is drift taxed, when you actually think about it, the amount of money that you spend, you'll never get back, by the way. You won't get it back, but it's actually not drift tax unless it's a bone stock car. Like, that's what I think drift tax is. When it's a bone stock car, you bought it for like $1,000 and you're trying to flip it for like $5,000, something crazy, which back in the day you could buy for $5,000. Even now you could buy like a SR RB swap S13 easily, that's like somewhat good looking. But I always wanted to do this video because I've always wanted to know, because I did how much a 1J would cost on the R34, how much I paid for it, the whole swap and everything, and that was really cheap. The R34 is actually cheaper. Damn, it actually is cheaper than my S14 out of all the stuff that I did, and it'll just get somewhat cheaper unless I go like top mount and all that, then it'll start racking up. But it won't ever get to the point where I spent, I would say, $20,000 unless I do something crazy. Actually, I lied. It's gonna be over $20,000 because with the GTR conversion, wrapping it, coilovers, top mount, all that stuff, that's gonna easily end up over $20,000. Enough talking. We have some big plans that are happening. We're gonna be taking out the motor on this, taking out a bunch of the parts, and see what's gonna happen in the future. Get ready for a winter build, because now that the R34 is almost somewhat done, we could go ahead, dig into this, see what we're gonna have for the plans. Gonna be keeping the shell, gonna be going over, we're gonna sell a lot of this stuff. RB's already for sale and stuff like that, so I gotta take that out. Damn, I'm just thinking about like numbers that I actually didn't add up, like drive shaft and all that. Anyways, like always guys, like, comment, subscribe. Big things are coming for a winter build, like I said, for this car. We're not sure if we might keep it, what we're gonna do, another swap to it, go get another chassis, because this one's kind of beat up. There's a lot that's been happening with this. But if you guys want any parts, let me know, message me. Literally selling almost everything. Might be doing a whole new look to it. I'm not too sure yet. Gotta finish the R34. But like, comment, subscribe. Like always guys, stay tuned for more.